Mr. Trone was stationed at Ben Hoa in South Vietnam, which is 30 miles north of Saigon. Ben Hoa, a very large air base and military base, was not a center of attack by the Viet Cong or North Vietnamese. However, it did see a regular shower of mortars. There was only one time Mr. Trone witnessed any casualties.
We had one incident where we took there was only one time that I actually witnessed casualties where we took a direct hit of an incoming mortar on one of the hooches, just probably about 100 yards from where mine was, and we had, I think, four soldiers were killed in that hooch, and a couple others were injured. Fortunately, that was the only time that anybody in my immediate vicinity.
When Mr. Trone was stationed in Vietnam, he constantly wrote letters and communicated with his friends and family back home. The technology wasn't what it is now. There were no cell phones or computer lines, just letters in which to communicate. His mom was his biggest fan and would always write him letters out of her concern for his safety when Mr. Trone wasn't writing letters back home or was on duty. There were different recreational activities that he could partake in. As being part of a base camp, recreational activities were popular. The men on the bases had a lot of downtime to do anything they wanted, and a number of activities were available for them. One resource to spend their time, of course, was the club. At the time, alcohol was very cheap and also available to servicemen. If you were part of the war, you were allowed to drink legally. For Mr. Trone, drinking was not an issue. However, for some men in his unit, they did abuse the alcohol. More activities to including working out and reading. Reading and working out weren't the main pastime activities to do, but it gave them something to do. For working out, they had a small area that they made, which included some makeshift barbells and equipment. Mr. Trone said you would be surprised what the men could work out and do. The USO had also sent a small library. They sent a few books and magazines over to the men. The main pastime activity was watching movies. Watching the movies also sent by the USO was the popular thing to do. Movies were sent to a camp a few times a week, and the movies were not too far behind the original release date. They were in the middle of the jungle, so a movie theater was not provided, obviously. Mr. Trone stated that watching the movies was pretty cool, though, because it was an outside show. For their movie screens, it was a white billboard, and they had a small projection booth.